Gusila, good morning and welcome back. It's a Tuesday today, the 7th of July 2009, and coming on attachment with the Population Services International PSI, I do have Mr. Neal Piper, who is coming from Pfizer. He has been employed by Pfizer since 2003. He's actually the therapeutic specialty representative there, and he'll be telling us exactly his mission in Swaziland and the campaign, the Love Test campaign, which was shown on our cable news network, which he was a part of as well. Neal, good morning and welcome to Gusila Breakfast Show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on today's program. It's an honor to be here.
Neal, first, I have spoken about the fact that you're coming from Pfizer. You're currently attached to PSI. Your background, where exactly are you coming from?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia in the U.S., and I work with Pfizer in their sales division. And at Pfizer, we have a program called the Global Health Fellows Program. Now, this program, it sends fellows, such as myself, out to go work with different nonprofit organizations, such as PSI, to do two things: to build the professional, or the transfer the professional skills they've taught us at Pfizer, and to build capacity in order to address the healthcare issues that take place in different countries. So I'm here on behalf of Pfizer as a sales and marketing advisor for PSI.
Now, why has you have mentioned the fact that Pfizer is an international, a big organization. Why has Pfizer decided to partner with Population Services International?
That's a good question. I think Pfizer is partnering with PSI for multiple reasons. One, PSI is seen as an international leader in addressing the HIV epidemic that's taken place here in Swaziland. And I think the reason being is PSI is really taking an innovative approach in attacking this epidemic. Instead of going after the fear-inducing campaigns that a lot of organizations do, PSI goes to more of a motivational campaign, more campaigns that the private sector uses. And I think a perfect example, you mentioned the Love Test campaign. I think this is a perfect example of this. With this campaign, it's been very successful here in Swaziland. It encourages couples to come together to do testing together. Because as you know, if you really truly love somebody, you don't mind getting testing with that person. So I think this is one of many reasons that PSI and Pfizer's joined forces, for us to be able to transfer some of the skills that Pfizer has taught us, and as well to kind of leverage that to work with PSI to think of even more innovative ways to attack this epidemic here in the country.
Now, Neal, you are on attachment for about 6 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct.
And what are your goals whilst in Swaziland? What exactly do you want to achieve after your 6 months in Swaziland attached to PSI?
Well, in terms of the healthcare industry, sales numbers or sales trends are an important indicator of health impact. And, you know, for us here, my biggest goal, number one, was to work with the sales team. Coming from a sales background, is to train the sales team here at PSI professional selling skills. So we had multiple stages of training: business plan training, we created sales aids, and as well the steps to a sale. And the reason that's important is because our sales representatives go out all to the high-risk outlets, bars, shebeens, spazas, and what they're doing differently now is they're actually sending a message teaching people what the HIV rate is, and now the owners of these stores, the bars, the shebeens, are now sharing with the people they know the importance of using protection so they can prevent HIV. So that was number one goal. Number two is to help with the distribution of PSI's maternal and child health products, WaterGuard and Worm Free. Currently, you probably know this, is 80% of illness in Swaziland can be traced to unsafe water, and claims 1 out of 10 children who die under the age of 5. WaterGuard's a water purification product that helps stop this preventable death. And so those are the two biggest goals, is one, sales team, and then working with the maternal and child health
Neal, you spoke about sales, and I'm just trying to figure out where is or what is the thin line between PSI and Pfizer, the partnership as an organization, trying to handle the issue of HIV/AIDS in Swaziland, and not being seen as an organization that is just after making sales. And
yeah, I think that's a great question, and it always is a challenge when you think about this. If you look at the sales of an organization, sometimes if that's attached to healthcare, then sometimes there's some negative connotation that can take place there. At PSI, what's different about PSI being a social marketing organization is their goal is to impact healthcare in doing that, you have to have a strong distribution network. Mm-hmm. Now, to have a strong distribution network, you have to have organizations willing to put your product on the market. So, for instance, at a bar, if you buy a PSI condom, we provide that PSI condom to that bar at a certain price, and then they get a markup from that point to sell to the consumer. It's interesting. We distribute over 2 million free issue condoms a year at PSI, but we find that people go more towards a brands that they have to pay for because they assume there's more quality with that product.
Of course. And now, what exactly have you achieved so far? You've been here for is it a month already?
About 2 or 3 months so far. 2 or 3
months. So what exactly have you achieved in the 3 months?
A couple of achievements that we've had is we've partnered with a few organizations, Ministry of Health and World Vision, to distribute 1.2 million WaterGuard tablets. As you know, there's a big cholera outbreak taking place in the Big Bend area. 16 confirmed cases, 1 confirmed death. And the Ministry of Health is responding quickly to this epidemic, and PSI wanted to respond quickly as well. We gave 250,000 tablets to the Ministry of Health to provide 5,000 people safe water for the next 2 years. As well, last Friday you saw we did a partnership with World Vision, and in this partnership we gave them 1 million WaterGuard tablets, and this is going to provide 35,000 people, vulnerable children, people living with HIV, safe water for the next 2 years through their area development program and their neighborhood care points. Secondly, I think in terms of deworming, we were working with the Ministry of Health last week. We went to a school with 700 children and gave education about deworming and dewormed all the children. We're looking for partners now to help with our product Worm Free, which costs $2.50 Imiligani, 2.50 per tablet, and only needs to be taken once every 6 months. And then lastly, the sales team, they're becoming much more streamlined, much more efficient in what they're doing. Sales numbers are up 125% since coming in, and I think a lot of that can be attributed to the sales and marketing team at PSI, the job they're doing there.
Swaziland was put on the spot during the love test campaign, which was shown on CNN. I want to find out exactly what your role was with that clip being shown on CNN.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. It was a really fun day when we found out that CNN was going to put coverage of the love test campaign, and it's a lot to you guys part at Swazi TV. I know you guys did a big coverage at the event in Manzini, and when the journalist called Dominique, who's our marketing director, to write an article on this, we were just completely stoked. When we made this, my job, I have a passion in photography and video, and my job simply was to kind of make a short documentary of the event. The PSI team did a great job putting this thing together, and through this documentary, CNN decided to put it on their website, and they ran a ticker across international news to go to their website. And you can go there now. If you go to CNN.com, type in Swaziland Love Test, and you can see the video and the write-up of what PSI is doing with its partners to help HIV here in Swaziland.
Neal, thank you so much. It was quite an honor to have you on the Still a Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
That is Neal Piper, who is coming from Pfizer. He is the therapeutic specialty representative currently attached to Population Services International, or PSI, for the next remaining about 3 or 4 months. We are taking a short break and coming back with more on Gusila Breakfast Show.